Now that's how you make a movie. Yeah, nobody guessed it, but yep, the movie I saw tonight, Castle in the Sky. Funny story, I thought I was actually going to go see the dubbed version, but it turns out it was the subbed. So, it's been a while since I've heard the Japanese voice actors, and I'll give them credit. The voice actor for Pazu and the female one for Shita, they actually sound like kids, and it's something that was a little bit jarring because this structure would make you think they're kids, but if you only listen to the dub, you would think they're teenagers. But I think they're probably maybe 10, 11 now. But yes, Castle in the Sky. If I was going to do a top 10 list this year, I would have to exclude this one because this came out in the 1980s. At least it came out in Japan in 1980. I think it hit the American shores, I want to say maybe 90s? Because I remember seeing trailers for this on television when I was a kid. And it might have just been for the VHS release for all I know. But this is how you make a movie these days. And, okay, look, Disney does great job with their stuff. I'm not going to nitpick. DreamWorks does good with their stuff. I'm not going to nitpick. But there's one thing they've been lacking for a long time, and it's not really their fault. It's mostly an aesthetic choice. The one thing I truly love about old school children's films, especially those by Hayao Miyazaki, is the world. Now, what I mean by that is, we've had some interesting worlds. We've had the world that is of Inside Out, seeing the human brain. We've seen the world of Wreck-It Ralph. But all of those feel like just a variation on our world. A different aspect to look at it. The closest I would say would be something in more DreamWorks areas where you get stuff like Kung Fu Panda and and How to Train Your Dragon. Those feel like separate worlds, but not one you could totally see happening in this world, if that makes any sense. Hayao Miyazaki's films, those that aren't strictly historical pieces, like My Neighbor Totoro, Grave of the Fireflies, Spirit of the Wind, those types of movies, they're basically historical pieces to some degree. And not historically always accurate, but you still get the feeling that this actually could have happened and probably did happen at least somewhere. But stuff like Castle in the Sky, Howl's Moving Castle, Spirited Away, The Secret World of Arrietty, even Kiki's Delivery Service, all of those feel like a world parallel to our own. If someone was to tear that rip in space and time, you could walk through and truly experience it. And it's a world you want to experience. It's a world you want to live in. And it's something I feel has been lacking recently. And that's why whenever I hear someone say, oh, it's a cartoon. Oh, you can't make a cartoon into a movie. It's for kids. This movie right here not only had a 3-act structure, not only did it have excellent execution, but it had time to let you take in the scenery, take in the world, truly just stop for a second and realize what you're in. Nothing you see like that anymore. The Marvel films, the best you might get is an occasional panning shot, but it's not a moment where you just sit there and just breathe it in. You don't feel like you're part of the world. You feel like you're watching the world, but you don't feel like you're there. It's one thing I have given a big credit to certain movies. Live action does a good job, but it feels like everyday life just taken on a different spin. Even in the fantasy setting, it doesn't always feel like you're in a different world. Most of the time. Sometimes it works very well. Like The Fifth Element made you actually feel like you were in the future. Granted, I don't like that movie, but I can at least say it was visually appealing and enjoyable to watch. Not for me, but for other people. Castle in the Sky is everything I love about Hayao Miyazaki's films. The atmosphere, the characters, just the one-off. You want to know more about these characters. You want to see more. In fact, one of my favorite series I started rewatching it lately was Future Boy Conan, which seems like it was a Studio Ghibli movie, but stretched over the course of 26 episodes. Well, I say favorite, I'm only about 7 episodes. Yeah, I just watched episode 7. I'm 7 episodes in. I watched it a while ago, but now I'm trying to get back and actually finish the series. Tangent. But the characters, wonderful. The only thing, and I have to be fair for this movie, because if I had to take my personal feelings out of it, this movie lacks a villain. And when it does have a villain, it's not really that good. The opening villains, the pirates, are very nice. Well, they're kind of mean, but there's like macho bravado. They're that silly type of villain. The ones that, you could see being threatening, but they're just so bumbling and just, oh, come on, guys. You can't really take them that seriously as a threat. But the way they hold themselves and the way they act, shows camaraderie and the fact that they are a family. And the leader, Mama Dola, or Captain Dola, whichever you prefer, she is a 50-year-old badass of a woman who runs her entire pirate crew full of her sons, which I'm assuming actually are her sons, and just the way she inspires them and the way they just fear her is actually pretty amazing to watch. And the fact that she grows to care for Pazu and Sheeta, the two kids in the movie, it really grows on you, and you want to see more of them. The one-off Uncle Pop in the dirt, the guy who listens to rocks. I want to know more about this guy. I want to see Pazu's boss. We see him in a muscle-off, and I'm like, how did he get to this? There's more story to tell. But that's the great thing. The story's already been told, we just never got to see it. Because the world feels lived in, it feels natural. And it sucks you in to the point where you feel like you're there. You feel like you're in this island in the sky, a remnant of time lost, overcome by nature itself. And this movie does a good job of just something we as humanity need to realize. That with all our technology and all our advances in life, everyone says, we're going to destroy the environment. It's not coming back. We're going to destroy all life as we know it. You're not wrong. Well, maybe I don't believe it, but there's a possibility that we might destroy to the point where we can no longer survive. But Earth will live on. The plants and life itself can never end, truly. And this last little tidbit, it's not forced down your throat, it's subtle. But you see that, well, technology fades, power corrupts, and eventually humanity has to realize we just have to coexist. No longer divide ourselves by whatever you want to divide yourself by. Pick a list, buddy. And all this from a kid's movie, of all things. It's something that really needs to be watched. And obviously I would say go see this in the movie, but you can't. It's one time and it's done. Well, 2 times technically. I missed Sunday, but it's done. But I highly recommend watching this movie. There's always a way to watch this, guys. I don't condone streaming sites, non-paid for streaming sites, non-official streaming sites, but there's ways to see this movie, guys. It's a joy to watch, an amazing movie, and if you just want to sit back and just go to another world and watch a story unfold, ignoring the fact that there's no real good main villain, this is a movie to watch. Wouldn't say this is his best movie by far, but definitely is one of the good ones. Anybody in the comment section below who's actually seen this movie and wants to try to debate me on that, please go right ahead. I would love to see which Miyazaki movie you think is the best. Though granted, everyone just says Spirited Away or Howl's Moving Castle, the 2 Miyazaki films I'm not a fan of. They're not bad, I'm just not a fan of them. But that's stuff for another day. So it's nice to enjoy this wonderful piece of film, because next week there's nothing really big coming out. I'll see something, of course, but I don't know what it's going to be, guys. It's going to be a wild card for any of us. Most likely, I'm going to flip this coin right here and pick on Thursday. Well, anyway, guys, as always, I'm Kevin Riley signing off, and see you guys next time. Later.